Hey guys, welcome back to Henderson Library's Teen Time. It's me, Miss Paulina. So today I thought, since Halloween is right around the corner, that we would paint some little spooky houses on haunted hills. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so let's just go over our supplies really quick before we get started. What you're gonna need is at least 2 cups of water, your watercolor palette. Doesn't matter which kind you have. If you don't have one at home, we are having kits, so just go ahead and pick one up. Some paper towels. You do want a couple scrap sheets of paper for your test strip. I'm gonna draw out my haunted house on the hill. So I would say a pencil and an eraser. Or, you could just download a print off of Pinterest or online if you'd like to, and then just kind of copy off of that. Watercolor paper or a watercolor postcard. You'll want some tape to kind of give yourself some nice border and edges. I have I don't even know what that's called. We'll just call it a plate, okay? That way you can mix your colors and test it on your test strip and see what kind of color you want for your sky and for your windows and stuff like that. Anything circular is great for your moon. I just grabbed a bottle cap off of my water, so that works too. All right guys, so let's go ahead and get started. That over here. Now, I like to trace the moon first because that way I can work around it. I don't want to put it on the center because I kind of want when someone looks at it, I kind of want it to pull this way. That way we just bam the moon. So I'm going to put it a little off center and just kind of trace a little circle around it. It doesn't have to be perfect because the moon's not perfect. Okay, that's a little wonky. Go over there. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect because you're probably not going to see it. Now I have 2 options over here. You could have a sky that's kind of like more Halloween-y, or you can have kind of like a smoky blue, kind of midnight looking sky. And that's the one I want to go for. This one you can accomplish, it just takes a lot of layers and a lot of mixing. This one is like pretty easy, and I just think this is the easiest one, and I think it looks better too. So I went ahead and just drew my circle for my moon. And then the house is the hardest part, but honestly, it's just a whole bunch of squares. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first layer. First little square. Kind of want to get it as close as possible to what this looks like. But you guys feel free to draw whatever haunted house or creepy house that you'd like. And what I've noticed is it's better when it's not perfect because, I think it just makes the house look creepier. A little more spooky, which I happen to like. And then go a little thinner. Something about like crooked old houses just make it a little spookier. And then I never know what this part is called. There's a name for it though, and there's like a use for it, but I don't remember what it is. So if you guys know, please let me know. I have my windows, and you guys can be as detailed or as simple as you want it to be. It's your haunted house. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I'm not the best drawer, so I just found online the simplest way to draw creepy houses, and this was kind of what I came up with. It's just a mix of other people who drew it and just put it all together. Draw the porch. And like I said, you guys, it does not have to be perfect because we're gonna paint over it. And anything that you don't like, you can always erase it. You don't have to commit to any of it. Kind of wanna pull this porch out a little bit. I mean this roof. And then a little bit of a railing for those creepy little balcony. It's a pretty big balcony. Whoops. That's okay. Ta-da! Okay, for your tree, like I said, does not have to be perfect at all. See, this is what happens when you don't let your paper dry before you start painting on top of already wet paper. It bleeds. Some people like that. If you want like a sharp tree, definitely wait for it to be fully dry because then it'll be really sharp. But if not, if you like this, then go for it. I'm just gonna draw a little hill. A little hill right here. Move that really quick. I'm always afraid to draw trees because I'm like, I am terrible when it comes to drawing trees. I am not. Trees are really hard. If you guys were here for my last one, I drew trees for you and that was a challenge. And I don't know why I thought it'd be a good idea to draw another tree in this one. Don't ask me, I have no idea. Alrighty. And just like last time, guys, this is a watercolor postcard. So like you can mail it to a friend or, grandparent or, someone who lives far away. Just to kind of let them know like, hey, I'm thinking about you, I miss you. Send them your love. It's always nice. Bring these trees down here. And guys, there is no right or wrong way of drawing a tree. I have figured that out. No tree looks the same, so. I think the weirder it looks, the better and spookier it looks, so it kind of suits the haunted house feeling to it. Okay. And these I tried to draw bats. That's definitely not a bat, that's a bird. You guys can do that if you want to. You don't have to. I probably won't do it with this one, but I might just show you just so you can kind of see how I did it. All right, so that's like my tree. Like I said, guys, you don't have to commit to any of these branches if you don't want to, because you're gonna paint over it. All right, let's get started. I brought extra brushes. That way I can get through this painting just a little bit faster, so you're not here forever. But any brushes will do. Let's see. Now, what I think is really important is to just paint your sky first, then the moon, then the house, then the tree. You can go any way you want, but I would strongly recommend painting the sky first, and then the moon, and then you can guys just figure out whichever one you want to do here. I'll show you. So to get this kind of looking sky, I just mixed blue and red together to kind of create that smoky purple, bluish color that, it's really pretty late at night. So I'm just gonna move that. Start off with some blue. And I say 2 cups of water, guys, because one, you're gonna get really nasty, and then one, you can just add to it. That way you don't have muddy looking colors. And when you mix the two, I can already tell you that's a lot of red in there. So I'm gonna add more blue just to kind of And this is the hardest part, you guys, just mixing and testing and praying that you get the right color that you want. Okay, so on my test strip, I'm just gonna do a little clean swipe. Hey, not too shabby, right? Not too bad. So I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my sky. This is the hardest part. Trying not to paint the moon. But you guys, just the tip. The moon is not a perfect circle. I learned that. So if you do get some color on your moon, hey, it could be a crater, or it could be like the sky going through the moon or going around the moon. You know how sometimes a moon has that kind of like little fog around it? And play it off like that. And the more layers you put on, the darker your sky will be. And the more water you add on, the lighter it'll be. So there's that. Oh, and if you guys get some sky into your house, not to worry. I would just say avoid the windows because you're gonna paint those a pretty yellow, and you don't, the blue is just really hard to come off. So it's okay if you like get a little bit of blue over here because you're just gonna paint the house black. Just gonna bring it all the way down. close enough. Luckily, it's super wet, watery, so you can't even tell. Bit of blue. Add some purple in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm really happy with that. So I'm just gonna let it be. Because I know if I continue working on it, I'm just gonna mess it up. So I'm just gonna let it be. So I'm just gonna let that dry fully. And then we're gonna get started on our moon. So for the moon, I just pulled a little bit of black and added a lot of water to it. And I want it to be like a light blackish gray. Perfect. Okay. Now, you're just gonna lay your brush flat and just kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but I like to like snake it a little bit. Like that. And you don't want to cover the whole moon. I don't know, I think it looks better when you just have a little bit of a little bit of smoke or a cloud, or I don't know what this is called. There we go. Nice. Now you guys can do your tree or your haunted house, whatever you'd like. I would save the windows for last because, I don't know, I just do. Or you could do it first. Just be really careful with the black. You don't want it to bleed into the windows because then it'll just look kind of weird. All right. Let that dry for a bit. Go ahead and prep my black. Little bit dry. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna lightly color in the house. Try my best to avoid the windows. And the more layers, the darker it will be. You okay? I might need you to help me film my intro. I couldn't. Yeah. Just the intro. I was like, I'll just do this part first because it takes the longest. Dana, edit this out. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll be done in like 5 minutes, maybe 10. You guys can be, like I said, as detailed or, you know, as simple as you want. Now, you can tell between these two how many layers I had to do to get to that rich, dark black. And this is kind of like a smoky feel. I think they both look great, so it's just totally up to you guys what you guys prefer to do. I feel like I hold my breath when I paint. Don't do that, guys. I don't want to mess up. But you know, when I took an art class back in school, I had an art teacher who told me that the one like great thing about watercolor to like any type of other medium that you use or will use in the future is that you have really no control over watercolor. Like, I mean, you can try your hardest to learn to have control over it, and some people are really good at faking it, but watercolor just does what it wants to do. It'll do. Holding my breath again. This is the hard part. This is so small. I like it. All right, guys. hard part. The balcony. I'll start up here. Very lightly. You know what? That really wasn't that bad. All right. Now, remember from the previous watercolor I told you guys about how if you wanted something to appear closer or you want to make it darker? Well, that's what I'm going to do with the tree. I'm going to make it really, really dark so that it looks like it's in front of the house. Ooh. I'm gonna try to thin out these branches by like adding Alright guys, I will show you a little bit how to add some birds. I think I'll put them around over here. I'm trying to be careful because this is still really wet, so if you're going to do some birds, wait till it's completely dry so you don't mess up your painting. But little V's. And I like to do that little mark on the side, like kind of like you're making an M. To me, I feel like that's a bat, but most people will say that's a bird, but eh. Good enough, I don't want to mess it up. Last but not least, I want to paint my windows. add some yellow and just color it in. You guys can paint the window frame. I chose not to because I thought it would look kind of, I guess it would make the house look a little bit more older, not having it such like sharply perfect window frames. But you can if you want to. And if you're worried about not having like a great sharp line with your paintbrush, you could just use like a fine tip black marker or a Sharpie. That works too. All right, guys, that's the haunted house. Wait for it to fully dry. Mine's pretty much dry. And then you can go ahead and remove your tape. So this is always the scariest part, but it's so satisfying. Let's see here. How do I do this? It's always the hardest part. You don't want to rip it, but if you do, that's okay. Look how clean that looks. Nice border. Ripped it a little bit. All right, guys. And there you have it, your own haunted house on the hill. Ooh, little tombstones are totally optional if you want to add them in there, or you could just leave it like a plain hill. Well, there you go. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys soon. Happy Halloween.